Hello crafters and welcome to P2PCrafts Presents, brought to you by From Picture to Page and Beyond Papercraft shows. I'm your host, Michelle Brown, Creative Director from Picture to Page, which is our scrapbooking, mixed media art and papercraft show. Now, P2PCraft presents demonstrations and chats with our talented retailers and some guest artists, and this is now week 4 of our 5 weeks of season 1. So for all the details, head over to our website from picturetopageandbeyond.com.au, where you can see all the sessions and all the links to the products that our crafters talk about. Now, while you're there, make sure you sign up to our email list so you can get a summary at the end of the week with all the links and as well catch up on what you might have missed out on. Now, whether you're watching us live on Facebook or through YouTube, we would love to know that you're there. So make sure you pop into the comments and say hi. And if you've got any questions as we're going along, pop them in as well and we'll definitely get to them. So today, P2PCraft presents JCraft. Hello, Jannette.
Hi Michelle.
It is so good to have you here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
You're welcome. Now, we can see some beautiful colours behind you there. Where are you today?
I'm in my craft room.
Oh, lovely. That's lovely. And I hear you have a bit of a love for flowers you're going to share with us today.
Oh, I do. I thought 7 years ago when we sold our florist, that was the end of flowers for me. But then I discovered faux moran and all the lovely things. And here I am back again with flowers, but in a different way.
Yes, flowers that last a long time.
That's right. Yeah. Indestructible.
Excellent. And so what are you going to show us today?
Well, I've got a mixture of things today. We're going to use all Lady E dyes, but we're going to use them in different ways. So some we're going to use with watercolor card and pixie powders. We're going to use pattern cardstock and inks, just to show you the different ways that you can use all the things that you already have at home. We are going to use a bit of foam around too. And then last but not least, we've got the 3D cake, which is brand new out. So that's going to be amazing.
Excellent. That sounds good. Okay, well, we'll let you get ready and then we'll get started. So what a fantastic way to see that how we can use these dyes in 3 different ways. So that's what you have to remember. Sometimes when you buy them, you're just not just using them the way that you first given them, but there's all sorts of other ways that you can use them as well. So firstly, let me say hi to everyone. I can see Jenny. Hi, Wendy. I can see Florina. It's so good to have you here today. We've got Val and Maria and Angie and Ruth and Kylie. Hello and welcome everyone. So I think Jannette's right. So Jannette, let's take it away.
I'll just sit down. Hang on. We'll ease into my chair.
Okay, we can hear you. We're ready to go.
Okay, see me all good?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So hi everyone. Today we're going to have a look at a lot of the Lady E new dyes and some of the old ones as well, but using a few different techniques. The first one up, we're going to show flower 8 and a few of the leaves 8, but we're going to use watercolor cardstock. So what I've done, I've cut some petals out from the bigger 2 dyes, and I'm just going to put them in a bowl of water just to saturate a little bit. We've got some of the large ones and a few of the small ones, and I'm just going to dunk them down just a little bit. Just like that. We're also going to be using, just for these 2, the Pixie Powders, burnt orange and emerald green. Just something a little bit different because I normally go pinks and purples, but we're going to go a bit bright for this one. A water bottle. And we're going to need some of the ball tools. And I've got one of these collapsible water cups that I'm just keeping my brushes in. So that's all ready to go. So they've had a little bit of time to soak now. That's all they need. And this is a beautiful, really white, bright, vibrant white watercolor cardstock that I use. And that's on the JCraft store. It just shows up the colours really nice. There we go. We're just going to spread it out. Oh, there's a little one hiding. And then I've also got a couple of little foil cups that I'm going to do a little bit of pixie powders in as well, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm just going to put a little bit of water in there. Now I'm going to take the burnt orange first. Actually, I should have mixed those up and put some big ones and some small ones. So we'll do it that way. So we'll do some in the burnt orange, and we're just going to tap on the pixie powders, and then a little bit in one of the foil cups. And then do the same with the emerald green. There we go. I'm just going to spritz them again with the water just to activate the powders a little bit more. And you can see the colours already getting more bright. There we go. And paint the right one will do. I'm just going to spread them out just a little bit. And you want them all to be different. You don't want them all to be the same. And all you mixed media people, you can keep all your paper towel afterwards, and you could do some really pretty things with that too. So you're not wasting this.
Jannette, that's a great idea. So yes, always keep hold of your coloured paper towel.
Yep. You see the colours coming through? Some are lighter, some are darker. There we go. And then because we want the centres of them just to be a little bit more intense, we'll just go in and just dot. That's why I put the little bits in the foil cup. Like that. Just gives you a little bit more of a centre when you go to put your stamens in. It's a bit more lifelike. As most of you know, mixed media is not my thing. This is about as close as we get from it. There we go. So that's fine. And we'll just dab it off a little bit just to dry it up just a little bit. And you could mix more than one colour pixie powder in together if you wanted to. I'm just doing one just to show you what it looks like. And then we're going to fold them in half and just squash the petals together. Just roll them a little bit if you can. If you can't, that's okay. And do that with them all. And you see the mic, you can see that on the camera, the little shine of the mic coming through. I know a lot of you have bought pixie powders from shows and things. And we've also bought the foam around the dyes, but we've never actually put them together like this before. So this is a bit of a first. And this is quite a thick watercolour card. It does take a little bit to dry, a little bit of time to dry. So what I'll do, I have got some I have already dried off. And I will just get those ready for you. And here's some micropaper. Okay, so this is what they'll end up like when they're dried. They're a bit shriveled up and a bit messy, and you think, oh my goodness me, what am I? So just going to unfold them. And you can do exactly the same thing with the leaves if you want to put them in the water as well. These ones I've left for now. We'll do this a little bit differently to finish off.
So Jannette, we had Angie asking, how long do they usually take to dry?
I did some, these ones were done probably about 11 o'clock this morning, so a couple of hours if you let them dry naturally. If you want to speed it up a bit, you could always use your heat gun if you want to use them right away. I just thought I'll have a few in different stages so that you can see. Obviously, if we had to wait for the other ones to dry, then it would take a bit long for this. So, yeah. And it depends how tightly you crunch them as well. If they're a little bit more open, they're going to dry a little bit quicker. So hi, Angie. And I've lost the pedal off this one. That's all right, we can glue it on at the end. I'm just checking I've got my power on here. Thanks. Okay, so that's what you can end up with there. Now what we're going to do, I've just got a little foam mat and a tap mat. And I'm going to use a couple of ball tools. The quite small ones for the watercolor card. And then you just pull them from the outside in the middle, and on the side. And that just brings the pencil back. And with the big flowers, I usually do 2 layers of petals. So one on top of the other. With the small ones, I tend to just keep them single.
So Jannette, Leslie was just asking, is it paper?
This is watercolor cardstock, yes.
So Jannette, has it taken you long to get the hang of doing this with paper?
To be honest, this was the first time I tried it a few days ago. So no, pretty quick. And when we use the patterned cardstock, that's not the next flower, the one after, you'll really see something quite pretty in that too, which I'd never done until this morning. So I'll just do a couple of these, and then you can just all put them together. Okay. one more of these ones. Okay, so I'm going to get some stamens and just get a little bunch of them.
So Angie, Jannette, Angie was asking if you'd use the same technique with the foam, but I guess you're going to be showing us that.
It's a little bit different, yeah, but yes, I am showing it. Foam is next up. I've got 4 different ones to run through today. This one is probably one of the longest ones. Sorry, I just lost my little bit of wire. Oh, I've got everything ready, but I haven't. Okay. Like I have. Okay. We're going to poke a hole through this one. Just big enough to the stamens in. And normally I have a bit of wire, but I can't put my fingers on that at the moment. But right. So we'll just hold the stamens back like that. And we'll glue gun over.
And Jannette, if you could just hold that up a bit so we can see it with a little bit more detail.
Okay.
Oh, yes, it's a bit hard to see the stamens of the green against the green.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to put a bit of glue on here. And then just push them together. Put the stamens in the middle. Then for the second layer, I'm just going to poke another hole through the bottom one. And then push all these through. I want that glue ripped on there. That's okay. And then I'm just going to put some little bits of glue here. Just to hold the petals together.
So Jannette, Thea was asking what gram or weight of paper are you using?
I'm not too sure what this one is. It is quite a heavy one, so probably about 300.
Right, about 300 GSM. Okay, we'll definitely follow that up. And then Christine was asking what type of wire are you using?
It's just a bit of florist wire. Yeah, maybe give me a bit of. I'll just have to make a new one quickly because I've lost my old one. Not this one here, really. Underneath the blue top. Yeah, it's a bit of florist wire that I've just folded in half. And that just helps kind of pull the stamens down a bit. Yeah, so that's kind of one of the big ones. For the little one, we'll just keep that single. And just bunch the stamens up.
So Mary's quite jealous of your glue gun setup, as am I. I think that's a great way of using it and not getting too burnt.
That's right, yeah. I mean, lots of people get burnt fingers, me included, but by having it on the glue gun stand, you're just using the trigger and you're not actually coming in contact with the nozzle, which is good. It is a heavy-duty glue gun, which I used to use at the florist, and the nozzle is quite thick, but I find by using it that way on the stand, your fingers are not coming in contact with it, and you do get less contact. I've lost my hole now. No, I'm not too good.
And Jannette, we've got Karen letting us know that she never burns her fingers, but I think her emojis are telling us that she's sort of saying that tongue in cheek.
Karen absolutely loves the glue gun. And you just kind of push the petals in against the hot glue as well, and that pushes.
Could you just move your hands up a little bit? We're having a bit of trouble seeing. That's it. Yep.
Okay. So then you can just cut the stamens, the end of the stamen off like that. Okay, so that is basically these dies. I made these about a week or so ago. I didn't have the new dies at the time, but I wanted to try out the technique on watercolor cardstock. And the center of this die, which is the flower 5, wasn't big enough to put a hole through to get the stamens. It would have just disintegrated. So what I did with these was just put some little gems, just some little diamante gems. I glued them in the middle. It's exactly the same technique, but just finished off a little bit differently. So you could also do that with the stamens if you want a bit more bling. But yeah, just different ways of doing them. Okay, so we'll finish these off another time, and then we'll have a run through on the other ones for you. And that's that one. We'll just clear away.
And you have got a helper there. You don't actually have 3 arms.
Everybody will recognise her, but you can't see her just now, but she's my right arm at all the shows and usually demos the Pixie Powders a lot better than I do, but she's here to help me today in case I forget something or lose something like I just did with the wire. Okay, so this next one is going to be foam. So, we get our things together. Okay. So these are some really cute little flowers. Can you see them okay?
Yes, we can.
You can. And some of the leaves as well, which I have just used. These are paper, and they are from the leaf set. For these ones. Okay.
So, Jannette, tell us a little bit about the foam for those that haven't seen it before.
All right, so the foam is 6 mil thick. Any thicker than that and you don't get the same effect. So the one I'm using today is 6 mil. It is made in Iran, as the name suggests, foam Iran. It took me a long time to source it, but now I've got onto the right stuff. It's brilliant. And it's especially designed that thick for the flower so that you can mold it or iron it. You can melt it. You can heat it on with a glue gun. And to colour these, I'm using my all-time favourite gelato, which is like a creamy crayon thing. And they just give you the nice kind of subtle colours. So I'm just going to use just the cheap kitchen sponges that you buy in the $2 shops. They just come like this, and I cut them up. It's a lot cheaper than buying other things.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, and I like to do it on a piece of kitchen towel as well. It just gives it a bit more, just something to grab it with. And that's all it needs like this. So you just really brush it on. And just randomly, flowers are nature, they never look the same. Front and back, because you know the side you're going to look at it from. So I'm going to do a couple in that one. And teal blue colour. I don't know whether you can see or not, but the new dies have got a hole in the middle, which is really good for putting your stamens through. I think that's a great idea to come up with to do that. I get my Lady E dies direct from Amelia. She's got lots of videos and things on YouTube too. I was hoping to get to meet her in September this year. We booked a trip to attend one of her classes in Ireland. Because of COVID, that's no longer going to be, but we might get there one day. So I'm just going in a bit thicker again just to give you a bit of a centre. More solid. That needs. Then again, like the watercolor ones, we're just going to fold them in half. And then the last, because these are 5 petals and not 4, we just bring it to the front, twist, and do that with them all. In half, water, and bring the last one over. Of course, you could use your coloured foam as well and just give it a light colouring of an ink or gelato. That would give it a shade. Or you can even mix 2 colours on the same flower. You could have put the blue with the pink, and that would have given you kind of purpley tones in different areas. There we go.
So, Jannette, you're not going to wet the gelato for this technique?
No, you can, if you want to dilute the colour a little bit, you can put it on with a baby wipe on your finger. But it does lighten the colour a little bit. So when I've done spread them out a little bit, just on a shape. And if you do take it, don't worry, it'll glue that on quite easily again. And just kind of get petals in underneath it. And then we're just going to put these together exactly like we did the watercolour one. So I'll just show you with one big one and one small one, and then it's not boring you too much. And we'll move on to something pretty nice that I'm quite pleased with the way it came out.
So, Jannette, how many stamens are you putting there?
Oh, I vary, usually odd numbers. This one has got 7, so that gives us 14. Just for the bigger ones, the little ones I might put 5. Some stamens have got bigger heads than others, so then you just kind of judge it and see what kind of look you want. So just pinch the pen underneath as well. That's it. And then drag it through the bigger one. And they are, you could always use them for cake decorating as well, because they are food safe ones. So if you're doing it on a wedding cake or christening or something, then they've got nice little flowers for kids. I have a few cake decorators that buy them. Helen, I'm not sure if you're there, but if you are, hello. So that's these. Yeah. So then I just pull the wire out, cut the stamens off, and this hot glue dries instantly. So you're all ready to go. So that's that one.
So the glue gun lets you cut the stamens quite close to the flower.
Yeah, it does, because you're gluing from the top. So it's the stamens are stuck from the top, and then you just cut from the bottom because it's already glued in place. Thank you. Okay, now this is a really cool one. I want to show you. I want to say it's very useful until this morning. So what I've used in this is just some pattern cardstock, and I've just cut out some flowers from the poppy die, actually, which is this one here. This one's been around a little while, but I just want to try something different. Like really good. And I did want to put some bling onto it, but I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to do it. I just sprinkled them on the watercolor cardstock and biodegradable glitter, which this looks really pretty with that particular cardstock. So I've got some I started earlier. Put things out. And that's just the different petals. I've used some of the large and small. And then all I've done with these, I've just got some of the ink that I use. And a little bit of cut and dry. I just pressed it into the ink pad. And it's gone around the side. This is quite a vibrant colour. I think it would make it pop.
So Jannette, what's some of the benefits of using the cut and dry foam for this technique?
It just puts on, because it's more dense, it just works better with it. Whereas when you're putting your gelatos on, it's creamier and it spreads, so you can use a cheaper sponge. But I think for the inks, it goes on a little bit smoother and a little bit, you get it where you want it to go. If you had to use the cheap sponges, it would spread off the edges a little bit. So I've got back my pinks and purples again, guys. I'm sorry, but
that's not a problem at all. I think we've got lots of purple lovers here.
I've just been using a lot of scraps out of the JCraft paper pad that I've used to do the next item with. So I'll just use the scraps to work that nicely. I'll just do, because you can see what the finished like. They're all slightly different texture. Then what I've done with these, given them a bit of a spritz. And then that blends the ink. You see how it's just starting to smudge a little bit? Bleed. You see the word? And then when you've done that, I would just let that dry like that. No, I wouldn't. Sorry. I would get them with my ball tool again. and just shape them like we did the watercolour cardstock while they're still wet. And you do this on to the reverse side, so the ink is on the side, but you do it on the reverse side. That'll curl the right way. One down the middle and then one around each of the outside. Okay. Then I'll put that. I do have them I've already dried. Exactly like we did before. Only this time I'm going to use another cheap kitchen sponge because it just presses it down a little bit more glued together. My stamens ready. I mean, I've used green stamens on all the way through today, but normally I change the colours up a little bit, but it's just easier to have them all to hand. And plus green usually goes with pretty well everything.
So Irene was asking, are all these products available in your shop? But I have a feeling that she might already know the answer to that.
Oh, I think she does. Yes, they are.
So yes, everything's available through the jcraft.com.au website.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I loaded all the new dyes last night, so they're all on there. The blue. And just pinch the petals in. Yeah. You can either offset petals or you can put them over the top of each other. It depends what shape you want. There we go. And then you go. So depending on what cardstock you're using, you get a very good look for each of them. The big leaves that I did. All right. If you wanted to do some leaves as well, the best way to do with that is just to give them a bit of ink on the edge. You really don't need to spritz these with the water because it's normal cardstock, it's quite thin, and it will just disintegrate. You just fold your little leaves in half, just give them a bit of action. And that's pretty much all I've done with those. Yeah, that one. That's a bigger leaf as well that I've done. That one I cut in half. Like that. So you could ink the edges of those as well. And the poppy. Okay, now for the much awaited 3D cake. Yep. So I'll show you the finished product and I'll run through what I've done to make it.
Do you need a drum roll, Jannette?
Oh, I think I might. Yes, I think that's probably. All right. Okay. So this is the 3D kit. I've made it into an exploding box. So this is just some of the flowers that I've used. I'll do a quick run through on these little flowers in just a sec, because that's the ones you do use the iron for. So what I've used for the paper, I've used the My Sweet Province from Lemoncraft, and that gives you all these beautiful combinations, which I've used all the way through the flowers, exploding box, and the leaves I've cut out of this as well. So they're just very pretty. If you want to make cards, they've got the words as well. So the top is using one of these with a watercolor. I've just mixed them up. This is a little bit of foam flowers here, little foam flowers, and I've just put out some embellishments from the paper pad, and then just raised a few more with some foam dots on them there. They're just so nice. Okay, here we go. So the lid comes off, and then out it pops is a little 3D. Okay, you could use this for a wedding card, a birthday card. You could even put some little candles on top.
So, Jannette, could you just show us the side of it? Because from the top, it's a little bit hard to see the dimensions. Oh, excellent.
You see that okay now?
Yes, we can. So it's a 2-tier cake. How fabulous.
Yeah. So you could put some sentiments, little verses on here if you wanted to. There's lots of different ways you could do with it. So I'll run through the die. So the die looks like this to start with. So this is the bottom tier, and all you do is cut it out with your die cutting machine onto some pattern stock, and top tier, and then you roll it around, glue it down. That's the bottom pieces that tuck underneath. These little circles here, cut out these here. And also the top of the cake is the big one, and the top of the little tier is that one. You've got die cut for your leaf, and then you've got your die cut for your little flowers here that I've used. So you get quite a lot in it. It's just something a little bit different. On the bottom here is a little doily. I don't know if you can see the little round part going around. That's that little die there, which is cut out really nicely. And I'll just quickly run through the little tiny flowers here. So these little flowers here. As well. You do get quite a lot in your die. And slightly coloured the other flowers before. Same thing. And then with an iron, can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, so you just press them onto your iron. And just let them shrink in. Stick into my hand because I've got some glue on it.
So the heat from the iron actually shrinks the flower and shrivels it a little bit.
It does, yeah, and it only does it. There's only certain shapes you could use it with. Obviously, the ones with the points wouldn't use because they're more a flatter flower. These ones you want to curl in just to make something tiny, pretty. And as you can see from the lid, I've used the big one in the middle and then used these little ones just to form a bit of an arrangement of them. Back to my floristry again. But it's so easy to do. She makes the dies just so easy to use. Yeah. I'm just going to cut you out and strip each of the cake, and then I can just do a little quick example of how to do it. Just quickly to finish off. So I'm just going to thread like just one stamen through that. A little flat is just need to hot water. A little bit of glue. And just push them.
So Jannette, Angie was asking if your store's open for pickup at the moment.
During certain hours, yeah. If you call ahead and make an appointment, yes, it is. Quite a few people since the restrictions have been lifted a little bit, so that does help a little. So there's just some little ones. And Reem's just quickly cutting me out one of these and one of these. I'll give you a quick run through of those, and you can see exactly what it is. So we've covered quite a lot of her dies today. So hopefully she might be watching too at some stage. Give me your thoughts. All right, so this has been used, this is just some paper that I actually used on my gel print, believe it or not, but I don't, that doesn't do mixed media, but it just shows you can use anything for it. So the little flap on the corner there, you just fold that over and fold all these little pieces down. Gives you a bit of a better idea how quick and easy it is. And then that would be glued to there, like that, which gives you your bottom layer. Then you'd stick on that piece there. And when it's glued together, it does hold, and you get your circle nicely. And then exactly the same for the smaller one. Fold your tab over and all your little ones like that, and then just put a bit of glue on. I'll probably use cold glue on this rather than hot glue, but just for this. Yeah. That's why I use cold glue on this to give you a bit more time to stick everything down. Hot glue is not quite as forgiving. So that you can see the gist of it. Now I might think, but I'm not going to say anything. Just put a bit of glue that just fit the top layer down, put your joints at the back. exactly perfect, but if I was using cold glue, I'd spend a bit more time with it. But
That is amazing.
gives you the idea of it anyway.
Yeah, and you always need to make a few of something new to get the hang of it.
Yeah, and then you end up with something quite big. So there you go. That's about it. That's about all I've got to show you today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Questions from anybody? Or...
So if you want to just get your camera turned around and then we'll see what questions we've got.
Yep, okay, no worries.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that demonstration. Wasn't it amazing to see all the different ways that you could use the foam dies? So using it on the watercolour paper, on the scrapbooking paper, and of course with the Foam-ranium. It's just so delightful to see Jannette have a play with that. But then the exploding die box card with the cake in the middle was just wonderful as well. So I think Jannette's ready. So Jannette, we've got Angie asking if the exploding box was a die as well.
Yes, it is. Yes, that's a Lady E die. That's called the 3D cake.
Okay, so there's a 3D cake, but the outsides of it as well.
Oh, sorry, the exploding box. No, that was just something I made up.
Right, okay. So yeah, you sort of got to work from the cake and then figure out what size you would need it to be.
Yeah, I will have some instructions, so if anybody wants to email me, I can send them instructions for that as well.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Now, what are some of the things you do with your flowers once you've made them all?
I generally put them on cards, which I have got, or mini albums. That's just a card I made recently with some on.
Oh, they're stunning.
I just use them for myself mainly, or then there was like, can you see these really big ones?
Oh, they're huge.
Yeah, I made those for my garden for my party I had in February.
Mm-hmm.
I just use them for all sorts, but generally on cards for me. I don't do a lot of scrapbooking anymore. If I'm going to scrapbook, it'll be in a mini album, and I do tend to use them in that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Excellent. So where can people find all of these Lady E dies?
They're all on my website, www.jcraft.com.au. They're all on there, or you're welcome to come and have a look in my shop. You just need to make an appointment and come and check it out.
Yep, so if you're in Melbourne, you can come and visit you, but if not, where do you ship to?
I ship all around Australia. I do to New Zealand. You just need to contact me for shipping, tell me what you want, and I'll organise the shipping to that as well.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So yeah, I think we've had a few visitors there from other states as well. So that's good to know that you're shipping across Australia.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Excellent. Okay. Well, Jannette, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Okay. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Oops. Oh, there we go, right button. So I hope, crafters, you've really enjoyed watching today's demonstration with Jannette from JCraft. Like I said, hop over to her website, jcraft.com.au, and we'll have links there to all the products, and she's got some instructions as well, which might be really handy. And of course, leave a comment if you have any questions, leave them there as well, and Jannette and I will get back to you. Make sure that you're on a mailing list at picture2page.com.au, and I think you'll be able to find all the replays there as well as all the links to the websites as well. So this is Michelle Brown signing off. We hope you have a crafty day.